On the bloody button, come on.
After what seemed like forever, but was actually only 2 weeks of boat work, Ethos was finally ready for the water. We were so excited for her to be launched. In just over an hour, she was in. Our new little home was finally on the water. It was such a surreal moment. The adventure started here. Got into the water about 10 minutes ago.
So we're no longer...
Yeah, we're no longer in the hug. It was a bit of a rush.
A real rush.
Yeah. The fenders out, we got all the mooring lines out, we got all the paint ready. It was just, they came 40 minutes before the time they told us we were launching. We expected them to come a bit early, but that was earlier than we thought, so we
still had a few bits of paint and other things on the ground underneath our boat that we really wanted on the boat, that we then had to carry to the water because they were saying, oh, can you hurry?
Yeah,
can you hurry up?
They're hurrying us, and we only have one tank of water full, which is more than enough until we get, like, we can just...
Yeah, I think that's probably a week's worth of water anyway.
Yeah.
And at some point in the next probably 3 or 4 days, we'll have probably another chance to get on the water.
Honestly, it was such a surreal feeling, like following the boat, going into the water. I felt like I was part of like a wedding parade or something.
We're on the water and we're going to try and start the engine for the first time on the water. So I've just turned on the ignition down here. I'm going to put on to glow, then we're going to see if it goes. On the bloody button, come on! Here we are, engine just gone off.
We've only left the dock about an hour ago.
No, not even that. We literally left the dock 15 minutes ago.
We got put in the water about an hour ago.
Yeah, we got put in the water about an hour ago. We got ourselves sorted out. Now here we are. Look at that, nothing but the wind. Friends we made in the boatyard invited us to this tranquil bay for our first night, where we had a barbecue on their boat. You're close.
After 2 beautifully calm nights on anchor in Marku Bay, we pulled up our anchor and headed for Lefkada.
We got our mainsail out on anchor. There wasn't too much wind, about 5 knots. We've come out here, there's still 4 or 5 knots maybe. 6. Oh, here you go, sorry, 6 knots now. We're cruising along at about 2 knots, Em?
Yeah,
about 2 knots, maybe just below. But we don't care, we're not in a rush. We're just enjoying gliding through the calm seas on our way to Lefkada. But the wind is due to get a little bit stronger later, and then we should speed up. But yeah, maybe it's going to take us about 6 hours. Okay, so we were sailing along Genoa and Maine on full, and the wind was about around 5, 6, 7, 8 knots. It was building, but it was slow. And then all of a sudden the wind sort of got up to about 40, which was good, because then we started going along at a good pace. And then the wind really built up to about 26, 27, 28 knots. So we had to...
I took the wheel and Callum pulled in the Genoa and then pulled in the hole. We were going to reef.
Well, I started trying to reef and then I was thinking, you know what, this is silly. What if it builds even more? So we just backed down, put us on the helm, me helping get the mainsails out. And now we're motoring, because we're pretty much going head into wind. 25 knots now, but it jumps up to about 27.
Got a little bit hairy, especially because we had just passed one of the fish farms that sticks out quite far from the headland. So yeah, it was super hectic for a while, but stayed calm and we worked really well as a team and we got through it, and now we'll some of the Genoa up when we get through this squally bit. Just shortly after this, we pulled out some Genoa and we're making good ground.
Probably hear us gassing the engine because we just made it last week for the 4 o'clock ferry opening on this bridge here at Lefkada. We only just made it by the skin of our teeth. We were actually 5 minutes late. Oh no, it's 5 past now. So we were actually about 3 or 4 minutes late, but luckily we still made it through. So we're now in Lefkada, and the area that the way people moor here is stern 2, which for those who don't know is with the stern of the boat to the quay, and you run 2 lines on, and at the front you've got your anchor down there. It wouldn't have been an issue given normal conditions, but what we've got at the moment are crosswinds of up to 30 knots. It was going over 30 knots actually. I went up to 33 at one point, so that's pushing the boat sideways when we want to be reversing in a straight line ideally. So it does mean that your margin for error really decreases because you've got to act so fast. Yeah, we reversed in. First time was going quite well, but then we stopped the chain a little bit short, which meant that the boat started swinging round, so we had to power on out so we didn't catch their chain next to us and go around again. Second time we came in, we got it done, but it certainly wasn't pretty. Luckily there was someone on the shore to come and take one of our lines tied on for us, which really helped us. Without that we wouldn't have been able to do it. Shuffle the boat around and tighten up the anchor and tighten up the chains and do everything else, but Callum did so well that we're having to shout a lot because it's so windy and noisy, and there's so many noises and things going on and so many different parts to do, but Callum was and also there's like the cost of doing one of the things wrong could be hitting another boat or hurting yourself, so that's why there's quite a bit of shouting to make sure. So now we've got our ladder down at the back onto the quay, so we can just step on there. You can probably hear the wind. Yeah, I'm sure you can hear the wind. It is howling, it's whistling through all the masts. So last night was not what we expected. After 2 nights on anchor in a tranquil bay, we were used to lovely nights of sleep, and it wasn't even the wind or a weather factor that kept us up. We're opposite a bar and the bar was playing loud music, and I was sure the music would stop at I thought it would stop around 11 or something. Oh, 12 at least. And then I thought 12, yeah, okay, the music's definitely going to stop by 12. And then I was like, surely the music will stop by 1.
At 1:45.
Yeah, and then about 2 o'clock, I come up to 2, the music stopped. And this is, do you know what?
It was still, you went to get the fan at 1:45.
Yeah, and this is after we'd come in with 33 knots of wind. We had a long day of sailing. We were knackered. We wanted an early night, so we jumped into bed about 10. Oh, no.
Yeah, no, it was just after 10.
Yeah, we were tired, so we wanted to get an early night. We jumped into bed. We thought, okay, they'll at least turn the music down a bit later on. But the music was pumping.
At like 2 o'clock in the morning, I was Googling what time that bar shuts.
Because it's so hot here, we have to have the hatches open because it's really warm.
Poor you.
So we're starting to get used to this, where we are the only boat that we can see on the water. So we've got Lefkada behind us there. We've just left.
After our noisy night in Lefkada, we opted for a quiet bay on Meganisi, where we spent the night long lining.
Three and a bit knots. Hey Captain.
Hello.
So give everyone a view of what we're seeing right now. On a boat in sight.
It's 9 AM and we left our beautiful bay in Meganisi where the water was so clear, and we're heading to a small town on the top of Kefalonia. It was the only fishing village to not be destroyed in the earthquake, so it's still got all the old architecture instead. And it's meant to be really cute and have loads of owners and just be lovely, so we're heading there. We might stop somewhere for lunch.
So here we are, sailing along. Sailing in between two islands. This is a message to anyone that's thinking about buying a yacht. Go and do it, it's amazing. You're in the boatyard and you're doing all your boat jobs and you keep finding other things that are wrong and going to cost money to fix. I started losing hope, not losing hope, but I was starting to dislike the boat a bit because it was just draining my wallet. And then we got her in the water and everything changed. Looking at this beach over here, because in this little channel between the islands, there was about 14 knots of wind, it's now about 12. And I was thinking maybe I could get my kite, we could anchor up and get my kites out and I could kite surf back and forth in this channel, but no, the wind was a little bit too light at the moment, so no. From Meganisi, we headed south to Fiskardo. Hey, so you might notice I'm wearing a jacket. It's because it's blowing 24 knots now. It's blown up to about 28, 29 at some points. It's been a really weird day for wind. We started out with, again, quite light winds, 4 or 5 knots, and then it's gradually built. Today it was quite gradual, so it's good. So we've got our second reef in the main, and we've got full Genoa out, and we're rocketing along at about 5 knots now. We've been battling into the wind, tacking all day, and we're now in the last hour of sailing.
Ready for owning, I'll be by myself tonight. So put your hands into the sky and touch the air that I'm breathing, or turn my time into meaning. I'll be by myself tonight.
So I've just been to see the port police here in Fiskardo, and that has filled up quite a few this paperwork, basically to say where we've been with the boat. And it's just been the two of us on the boat for that time that I own the boat. But yeah, so we've got to do that, I think, in every major port we get to now. Just to keep a log of who's on board and where we've been, and that we're feeling alright. Just got out for a morning run and it is absolutely gorgeous. I haven't run in about 2.5 weeks, so I'm feeling a bit tired, but it is lovely.
When I'm home it goes away, but at last I've found that by myself is the price I have to pay to draw the pictures I'm dreaming. Though they feel they're all the same, if I could print the words I can't explain, I'd be ending.
So yesterday we came back from the beach to find that the back of the boat was mere centimetres away from this harbour wall, so we had to, because our anchor had dragged at the front, and so then when we wanted to try and relay the anchor, we started the engine and realised that our throttle cable had snapped. So now you can see my pedestal here, and I've taken it all apart, and I'm going to replace the throttle cable, which is this one down here, so you can see that. I went to the local chandlery and they didn't have one, but luckily they have a mate who did. So it's now the next morning and I've been able to get hold of a throttle cable, and I'm now going to try and fit it.
Your love is gone, and I'm here holding on, and I'm here holding on.
We are cruising. We're currently doing 7.4 knots, 7.5 knots. We're going downwind. It's lovely. It's calm. We're going fast. Full sail out. Far cry from yesterday's slow beating into the wind. We had to change our plans. We were sailing round to a lovely, beautiful anchorage, but we still had a decent distance to cover, and the winds died for a minute, so we went to switch on the engine and we couldn't get the engine started. Had power down here, had enough voltage down there, so we weren't too sure why, but I do remember when we left this morning, I had to press the engine start button very hard to get it started, and I thought to myself, I'm going to take that apart tonight, clean the contacts and see if I can make it start better. But then now it wouldn't start, and we basically tried, it wasn't starting, went down there, checked all the fuses, came back up, weren't too sure, but basically kept pressing it, and I took the panel off and I was trying to wiggle the connections and everything, and finally we got it started, and we're definitely not turning it off now until we're completely secure and safe for the night. Here I am, making a whole load of mess. So these are the wires, and I'm not sure if you can see, but they're not the best. So the connection there would have been pretty terrible between these two, even though this looks all right. But we've got a new connector, and I'm going to cut those and strip them back and hope to get some fresh copper that we can connect and have a good connection and never have any engine not starting issues again.
We're going to turn this evening around. We're going to take some water and we're going to go for an explore of the lovely port of Sammy. No more wallowing.
Oh, we were just a bit
like on a bit of a downer.
You say, I think it's a loose connection. You do all the connections to that button, even though it is working now, we don't want to have that situation happen again. Yeah.
Maybe we'll go on a night out.
No one likes things to go wrong.
Yeah, and we've had a bit of a run of it.
Yeah.
So we were feeling a bit like this wasn't our luck.
Yeah, and then we're also thinking, is this just the beginning of a whole series of issues? Having the button working again felt like we turned a corner and we were back on our holiday. Hey guys, so after yesterday's troubles with electrics, we're now here relaxing in this beautiful bay, which we were actually going to come to and stay last night, but we feel like everything's back on track and we're feeling good. After a beautiful anchor spot for lunch. Pardon? And I am on the helm and Callum is pulling up the anchor for a change, so we're making sure that both of us are able to do both jobs. Obviously he's able to do both, but yeah, just making sure that I can take the helm when necessary, and look at what beautiful spot we're leaving behind. Love it. So after about 2 hours of sailing, we got up to 10 knots of wind and we got all the sails out again, and we're feeling super chuffed with ourselves, and we were making 5.5 knots. We are so happy, and now look. Absolutely nothing. It was great while it lasted. We were told here the winds were super predictable, very dependable. They were always very light in the mornings, but then they always picked up in the middle of the day. We're not seeing those winds. But every now and again the wind will pick up to about 23 knots. And the annoying thing is it's coming straight on the side of the boat. The most area for wind to catch, which is really pushing us sideways. If the anchor does drag, we'll swing back round towards the shore, and we want to be quick to be able to give it some throttle and pitch these lines.
Join us next time where our stay in Port Athene gives us a few little surprises. We've been told that there's a storm, well, a thunder, lightning and rain expected for this afternoon.
If you like our videos, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can find us on Instagram at Sailing on the Breeze.